Sitting here with Holmes Community College head football coach Jeff Koonz. And, Coach, even though we were much improved this season, that North Division was pretty strong. They had East Mississippi playing for the state championship this weekend, and Northeast, Northwest, and Itawamba all tying for the number 2 spot. So, talk a little bit about our improvement this season and what you thought the big spots were, and then we'll talk offense and defense.
You're exactly right, Steve. I mean, it was a heck of a year for the North Division. There's a 3-way tie for that second place, and really mathematically we were right in the fold there coming down the home stretch. We played well at times, but not good enough to compete with the best teams in the North Division. Obviously, our goal here in the very near future is to be able to compete with those folks. But East Mississippi, not only one of the best teams in the state, but possibly the best team in the country. And really we saved our best offensive performance against possibly the best team in the country. So we're excited about the future here, the near future for Holmes Community College football.
Tell me, Coach, talk about the offensive highlights this season. I know our fans were able to watch some of those on YouTube and in person, we hope. And just tell me about what you saw as our strengths on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, it was an interesting year, Steve. It was a new offense. Coach McCarty did a great job implementing his take on the West Coast offense. Very fast-paced, very fun to watch. A lot of exciting plays. Had some great performances individually from Ladarius Reddit. Had a great year. Started out, Jamel Johnson was probably one of our top receivers early, and then old Jonathan Rumpf, once he got going there, he was a major factor for us on offense. But no, we're excited about the offense and the direction that it's going. You could see once we settled in, our 3 best offensive performances were the last 3 games of the season, putting up big numbers coming down the home stretch.
Try to save the best for last, but it just so happened it was a little bit past that Itawamba game when we needed it the most to stay in that race. Coach, I guess you talked about the offensive side, and Dennis Robertson came in late in the season, and he has good size and a big, strong arm, and he proved that in those last 3 games.
Well, Steve, a lot of folks have asked, where was this guy earlier in the year, but they also forget to mention that, he got hurt in the first game, had a bad high ankle sprain, which those things do take a while to heal up. So we never really saw Dennis in game action until coming down the home stretch, and when he got his opportunity, he put up huge numbers. If you remember, we're playing Northwest. We had over 500 yards of offense there. He threw for 384 rushing game without Ja'Cory Ousley, who was not there that game. We relied on the pass quite a bit, and Dennis had an outstanding game. And then, of course, against East Mississippi, again, one of the top teams in the country, not just the state of Mississippi. Dennis throws for 370 yards. Of course, he has a supporting cast there. I know Bass had a big game, and Jonathan had a big game. We tried to distribute it amongst a lot of our receivers. But again, 589 yards against one of the best teams in the country. The offense is heading in a real good direction there. We had 219 yards rushing against a team that had 4 legitimate SEC D linemen. So the scheme is in place. Mike did a great job implementing the offense throughout the year. And like I said, that's something that once they got their timing and everybody started playing together better. And, of course, Dennis played a big part there coming down the home stretch, but he was healthy. That's why he hadn't played earlier in the year.
And just by watching him, Coach, it seems like he's got a big, strong arm, and it doesn't hurt that he's a big kid too.
Well, in that East Mississippi game, he kept several offensive drives intact by his running. Now, we don't like him to run too much because he was the only quarterback healthy for that game. Nolan did get hurt early in that game, so we were down to 1 quarterback. But he was able to tote the ball and keep some of those drives alive. He's a big old kid, about 230-pound quarterback who's not afraid to lower his shoulder and run over some folks.
I guess, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, what stands out, we led the state all the way up until this last report came out in pass defense. So that we were very active on that pass, and we controlled a lot of people. And Did you feel like the rushing defense was not as strong as the passing defense?
Well, again, on those two sides of the ball, it kind of a different story for both sides. To be honest, on defense, numbers really hurt us. We had some key injuries early in the year. We tried to do the best that we could. We had to get out of our game plan for a couple games and try to do some things with the best available talent that we had. Unfortunately, our number one goal is to stop the rush, and part of those numbers, they were able to run the ball. So that's an area that we definitely have to improve on here in the near future.
Tell me about the young defensive backs and safeties and all, because they really did a good job for you. Even on coming up to stop the run, they didn't mind laying the lumber on somebody.
No, Taj Letman had a big hit in the Delta game, which I think sent the message to the receivers crossing the middle. But I think Cedric Tillman had an outstanding year. He's got the speed, and he is a good cover guy. Got better tackling as the year went on. We really work hard on our tackling, and that's to us here, that is a skill that every defensive player must have. They did a nice job at times against the pass, but that's an area that we really do have to work on here in the near future.
What about your ends? Bobby Hill seems like every play he was around the ball, and Tyler Wiltshire, we had some guys, seems like every play they were right there where the ball is.
Well, Bobby's got a good nose for the ball. He's a good ball player, and that's something that we're going to build around. He'll be our bell cow going into next year as far as on the defensive line.
On the linebacking side, what do you expect from the guys that will be returning next year?
Well, we had a couple of guys transfer in that may not be with us next year. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast when they transfer in from a D1 program. And Jewel Ratliff being one, he was at Kentucky last year. His eligibility, his clock is running, so not only was he injured, but he probably won't be here next year just because he's got 2 years of eligibility left. So we're trying to find a home for him. Brontarius Jakes, same thing. He was a qualifier, and he probably won't be with us. So, we're going to have to reload as far as the linebackers go. But we have some good players in line there. The Edgett boy, we moved him around a lot, but I think if we can get him in one spot, he's going to develop into a really good football player.
And he seemed, too, that he made some big hits for you, too, on that side of the ball. All right, talk about second. Mitchell Huff came in as a freshman, punter and kicker, and just had a pretty good year. I think, punting-wise, you needed a little bit more. Around 40 would be good. I think he finished up around 37, 38, but they were consistently, those yardage. I mean, he didn't have just games that would bring it down. He was consistent at that yardage.
Well, a little misnomer there. The only stat that matters in the punt game is your net punting. That's taking away their returns versus the kick. I was disappointed to find out that the person that makes All-State is based solely on how far they can kick the ball. And if you look at our strategy, we went with the rugby kick, the spread, and if you look at how many kicks we had inside the 20 and inside the 10-yard line, we really used a lot more strategy in our kicking versus just kicking it and seeing how far we can kick it. Now, Mitchell did an outstanding job doing what we asked him to do in the punting game, and although his average was about 37 yards, our net punting was around 36. So we really limited the return game, and then you look at how many times we pinned him not only inside the 20 but inside the 10-yard line, more so than anybody else in the league this year. So our strategy with the spread punt was very effective.
Talk about your return guys. Rump was back on the punt returns, and just with the speed and size, he's always exciting. And then Owsley and Bass on the kickoff returns, and you just couldn't ever tell when one of those guys was going to break one.
Well, Owsley has that gift of he can break it at any time, as evidenced by that 104-yard return, which I believe was a school record against Mississippi Delta. I don't know that we keep it, but until somebody can disprove that, we're going to take that 104 return because that was a big part of that game. But he has the ability to take it to the house anytime he touches the ball. He had one called back against against East Mississippi on a holding call. But again, He's a very special, dangerous return man. Jonathan Rumpf, of course, we tease him. He's the tallest punt returner in the nation at 6'5". Probably not the guy we want to have back there, but he catches the ball so well. Probably want a little bit smaller guy with a little more quickness. Vousley could learn how to catch the ball better. He's probably the one we need back there. But Jonathan did a great job securing the kicks, and he was raw to it, but he was a threat. Bass was kind of the journeyman when the ball was in his hands. He could make something happen as well.
Well, Coach, is coming into now the recruiting time of the year. Going by what we have or had in camp and through the season, you tell me what kind of player that you're looking for to join this team.
Well, it's an exciting time in the state of Mississippi. Once we find out for sure, there's still a couple issues with the new recruiting rules that are going to come into play. But them opening up the whole state, them being the presidents of all the community colleges, that leads to a lot of new challenges for us. We've got to have a good strategic plan in place as far as how to recruit the whole state. I will say this, we will always emphasize the best players in our area, in our so-called district. We'll always try to keep the best players close to home, playing for Holmes Community College. But now the new challenge is that the state is open, so the pool of good players has broadened. Now the other side of that is we do have to compete against 13 other schools in the state for the best players, not only in our district but throughout the state. So we're going to have to do some creative things to enhance those good players wanting to come to Holmes Community College in Goodman, Mississippi to play football for us.
Well, just tell me, you were here for a while and you left and you came back. Just tell me, how your first year as a head coach has been since you came back to Holmes.
Well, I'll say this. Again, Holmes Community College is a unique place located in beautiful Goodman, Mississippi. It's what you make it. We were given plenty of support from the administration and from the school. They obviously want a quality program here at Holmes Community College, and we're excited about laying that foundation this year for the very near future. We're excited about the players that did all the things that we asked them to do. This is not an easy program. There's a lot of discipline. We want our kids graduating. That's number one. So with that being said, they have to go to class, and we do have study table and a lot of things that the school's been very supportive. One thing is our FAST program. That's strictly for academic enhancement. We're very proud of that getting off to a good start this year, and we're going to build on those things. We really felt like this year was making that foundation for the near future, and I think we established that. The players that remained in our program did an outstanding job giving us everything that they had, and we as the entire staff do appreciate all the things that they did for us this year.
Tell me about your staff. I know you coming in after Christmas, it kind of pushed you, but at the same time, you felt like you got the best guys for each of your coaching positions. Well,
it's that time of year. We've already sat down with all our players, the ones that we need to get recruited. It's a double-edged sword here at the junior college. Not only are you recruiting next year's team, but you're spending a lot of time getting the best opportunities for the guys that laid it on the line for you. We owe that to them. So we're working very hard for all our sophomores and guys that are able to come out this year, getting them recruited and getting them exposure. So that's part of it. But no, as far as the coaching staff goes, we didn't get together till June 1st. So we have plenty of time this year to get out and hit the road recruiting. We've identified our needs for this year, which basically we're trying to improve in all areas. We really don't have anything specifically. We're just looking for the best available players out there to build on what we did this year. But the coaches are busy working hard. People don't realize, they think it's like high school where now you get a lot of time off. Well, I can assure you every day we're out there on the recruiting trails, not only trying to find players for Holmes Community College, but also getting our guys that are eligible exposure and getting them recruited from Holmes.
Well, Coach, I just want to say it's been an exciting year, and we just hope to build on it for the future.
Well, the future's bright for Holmes Community College, Steve, and you do an outstanding job promoting Holmes Community College football. And, again, the foundation's being set. Now we're fixing to build something really special here at Holmes Community College.